everyone. When we think of the aerospace and defense companies, their ERP needs are going to be very different from other manufacturing companies. So, what do you need to know about the aerospace and defense ERP system? That's exactly what we are going to be discussing in this video. Hello everyone, my name is Sam Gupta and I am principal at Elevate IQ. IQ is the independent ERP and digital transformation consulting firm. We help our clients with ERP selection, contract negotiation, ERP implementation, any sort of ERP project recoveries. So let's go back to today's topic, which is going to be the ERP systems for aerospace and defense companies. Now, when we look at the aerospace and defense ecosystem, in that you are going to have many different companies. For example, the OEMs are going to have very different needs from their subcons, such as your T1 and T2. They are doing primarily manufacturing. The OEMs are going to be running very large programs. They are going to have very different operational workflows in terms of the approvals, in terms of the vendor certifications. The T1s or T2s might have similar processes as well, but they might not be as involved as the OEMs. Now, when you look at or compare this with the field service organizations that might be doing primarily the repair, or the companies that might be in the airline ecosystem, okay, those are going to be very different companies. Now, if you compare this with some of the government or the defense contractors, they are going to have very different business models. But from the industry perspective, this all is going to be bucketed under one industry, and sometimes it could be very confusing to find an ERP system that is going to be right fit for your company. So before we get to the list, we are going to be discussing about the criteria. We look at many different factors, and some of these factors include the market share of the companies. In the aerospace and defense vertical, we are looking at only the market share for this industry, how products are performing, whether they are winning in this specific market or not. The acquisition strategy of the company, we look at that, what kind of products are they acquiring? If they are trying to fill a hole in the aerospace and defense capabilities, then we are going to be ranking them higher. The community, the ecosystem, the talent availability, the financial stability of the publisher. So these are some of the factors that we look at comprehensively to finalize the list. Now, let's look at the list. So number 10 on our list is going to be Oracle ERP Cloud. Oracle ERP Cloud is targeted for very large aerospace and defense companies. So let's look at some of the pluses for Oracle ERP Cloud. Number one, the quality and vendor supply certification is going to be part of the product. Obviously, the product works in many different industries. So the supplier certification, the quality is going to be extremely robust as with any other large products. Now, the global supply chain capabilities is going to be very robust as well, because again, it's designed for very large global public companies, and that's why you are going to find all of those capabilities. The native support for project and program management. Now, if you look at some of the hybrid manufacturing solutions, they might not have as deep operational functionality from the project management, program management perspective. They might not be as integrated with the resource management perspective, and that's why some of these products may not be as great fit for the aerospace and defense. But in the case of Oracle ERP Cloud, they have very deep project and program management capabilities as part of the product. Now, some of the negatives for Oracle ERP Cloud is going to be, it's going to take longer time overall in enabling the quality and compliance reports that are going to be required for A&D companies. And the reason why the time is going to be longer with Oracle ERP Cloud is because if you are a small A&D company, then you are, even if let's say you are able to configure the product to your needs, you are going to have several different commitments, allocations, approval flows that are probably not going to be relevant for you. So if you are going to be disabling them, all of those configurations need to be tested. And even if you do that, the product may not feel as natural. So Oracle ERP Cloud may not be the best fit if you are too small. Typically, it is targeted for companies that are going to have more than 10 entities and probably over $1 billion in revenue. Other negative that we have is going to be overall the limited integration of aerospace specific certification and audit processes with large programs. Now that's a negative just because it does not have as deep A&D specific capabilities. The other things that you are not going to find in the case of your Oracle ERP Cloud is going to be your pre-sales and contracting process that are going to be A&D specific. For example, flow down capabilities are probably going to require a lot of configuration and customization. But considering all of that, Oracle ERP Cloud is still a very strong product, especially for the large aerospace and defense companies. So that's why it ranks at number 10 on our list. Now, number 9 on our list is SAP S/4HANA. And SAP S/4HANA is also targeted for very large public-centric organizations. Compared to Oracle ERP Cloud, SAP S/4HANA is going to have far richer financial approval workflows, financial capabilities, the financial traceability. It's really designed from the CFO's perspective, and it's slightly superior for the larger aerospace and defense companies that prefer financial control over the operational capabilities. Sometimes they might be using some other ERP systems at the plant level, at the operational level, so those capabilities might not be as relevant. And if you're buying this purely for the corporate finance, for the global financial glue, then SAP S/4HANA could be a great choice. Some of the strengths of SAP S/4HANA is, as I mentioned, it's going to be the financial capabilities. But the other strengths that we have for SAP S/4HANA is going to be its HANA database, which is in-memory database, highly capable, designed to run the workloads of very large companies, and large A&D companies are going to require that as well because the transaction volume is going to be higher, and some of these small to mid-sized products may struggle with the performance, and that's why HANA database is going to be super handy for those larger companies. Now, the other plus that we have for SAP S/4HANA is going to be its product model. It's far more intuitive than some of the other products that are on this list. From the manufacturing perspective, whether we are talking about OEMs or T1s, T2s, the product model is really rich to support many different business models. Some of the weaknesses for SAP S/4HANA is going to be the similar weaknesses as Oracle ERP Cloud, which is going to be the out-of-the-box reporting and audit capabilities, the effort required in enabling ITAR, AS9100 specific capabilities. It's going to require a lot of work overall from the configuration testing perspective, A&D specific capabilities such as defense priorities and allocation systems. All of those could require a lot more testing and development efforts. So if you're buying for the financial capabilities, SAP S/4HANA could be a great product for those large A&D companies, and for that reason, SAP S/4HANA lands at number 9 on our list. Now, number 8 on our list is again a similar product, which is Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. It's going to have similar strengths as some of the other products, which is going to be deeper core ERP functionality. Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation also has far richer project and program management module because it's really designed for those service-centric companies. It is designed for project-centric manufacturing companies. It has far richer project management functionality because of the core capabilities of MS Project, which is integrated with the Microsoft Dynamics product. The other plus that we have for the Microsoft Dynamics is their number 2 CRM, and the field service capabilities, which is again very strong for Microsoft, and they have native integration, so you don't have to worry about the integration, etc. with Microsoft. The other plus that we have for Microsoft is going to be the availability of different options from the technical architecture perspective. If you are trying to extend some of these feature sets, that's going to be a plus for Microsoft. Now, the negative for Microsoft is going to be the deep A&D specific functionality and workflow. So you are going to be spending a lot of time in testing, configuring the A&D specific workflows. For example, ITAR, AS9100 or DPAS compliance, you are going to be requiring a lot more development effort in doing that. So weaknesses are similar to some of the other larger products that we have reviewed, such as SAP S/4HANA, Oracle, ERP Cloud, but Microsoft is going to be slightly superior just because of that Microsoft project capabilities. And for that reason, Microsoft Dynamics 365 F&O ranks at number 8 on our list. Number 7 on our list is a product called Rootstock. And if you're not familiar with Rootstock product, it's targeted for smaller A&D companies, and it does really well in the engineer to order centric verticals because of the native integration with Salesforce. So it has very deep CPQ capabilities as part of the Salesforce CRM, and then you have the field service capabilities available from the Salesforce platform as well. And anybody who is already on Salesforce platform are absolutely going to love this product. The negative for Rootstock product is going to be the reliance on the third-party quality module. It uses the product called Compliance Quest. While Compliance Quest is the enterprise-grade quality management solution, but it is still not owned by Rootstock, even though they both use Salesforce platform to develop the feature set. But we are looking at all of those vendor conflicts, two different contracts, additional cost because of dealing with two different vendors. So you have all of those challenges as part of the Compliance Quest agreement. But having said that, Rootstock is still a very strong product, especially for the smaller A&D companies. And for that reason, it ranks at number 7 on our list. Now, number 6 on our list is the product called IQMS. Its strength for IQMS is going to be, it's really designed for the plastic-centric verticals. That's why it does really well in some of the electronics verticals, the medical device verticals. And now, if you're a supplier for, let's say if you're a medical device supplier and you are supplying to A&D, IQMS could be a very natural fit product for you. Let's say if you don't have to worry about the contract and compliance and you are not really dealing with the government compliance aspect that is not heavy as part of your business model, IQMS could be a great product. Some of the other strengths that we have is going to be native integration with SolidWorks. And if you are very engineer to order driven shop, then you are going to find it far superior handshake with the SolidWorks product. It also has native support for ITAR and the other A&D specific features that you are not going to find on most of the products that we have on this list. The negative for IQMS is going to be the legacy interface. The ecosystem and the community is nearly negligible. You don't hear much about the product at all. So obviously getting the support is going to be harder, and it does not really have depth for the larger A&D companies. But having said that, IQMS is still a very strong product for mid-size A&D companies, and that's why it ranks at number 6 on our list. Our list is the product called Deltek. And Deltek is very strong in the government contracting space. And it does really well with companies that are going to be requiring the DACA compliance for the defense-centric organization. If your organization is going to have very strong defense component, then Deltek is going to be a great fit. Deltek is also very large product overall in its multi-entity capabilities. So it could be a great replacement for some of the other vanilla products such as SAP S/4HANA or Oracle ERP Cloud. The challenges you are going to experience with Deltek is going to be its weaker CRM capabilities. It does not have as strong CRM capabilities. Typically, it integrates with Salesforce, so you might find pre-baked integration with Salesforce, which is not bad. It could be a great choice, Salesforce plus Deltek, but that is still a minus because it does not have the native CRM capabilities. The other challenge that you are going to face with Deltek is going to be narrow focus on the government verticals. So let's say if your revenue is 60% commercial, 40% your defense and the government, then that could be challenging to accommodate in the Deltek product, and you might end up using two different ERP systems. And Deltek is not necessarily suitable for some of the manufacturers and distributors that you might have in the A&D space. So even though they both might be part of the A&D ecosystem, but for T1s and T2s, Deltek is definitely not a right product. Having said that, Deltek is still very strong for the A&D companies, and that is the reason why it ranks at number 5 on our list. Now, number 4 on our list is the product called Epicor Kinetic. And Epicor Kinetic is targeted at small to medium sized manufacturers that are not going to be as complex in manufacturing, but still require the mixed mode manufacturing capabilities. Epicor is very strong in supply chain capabilities that you are going to find in other products such as QAD. The other strengths of Epicor Kinetic includes very strong advanced MES capabilities. The negative for the Epicor solution is going to be the lack of the A&D specific capabilities. For example, if you look at ITAR export compliance, you look at AS9100 support, DPAS, and DACA compliance, they might require either third-party module, or you may need to develop additional reports, which increases your testing implementation time that you might find in some of the other products that are really targeted for A and D verticals. And the other challenge that we often hear from our customers, users, and the reviews is going to be Epicor is not really easy to work with. So that's a negative for them as well. Now, number 3 on our list is the solution called IFS. Now, IFS is not really targeted for the manufacturers and distributors in the A&D community. It is typically targeted for the other companies that are going to be field service heavy. They are going to have huge component of maintenance and repair of large equipments, and typically they are far more suitable for the companies that are going to be part of the airline ecosystem as opposed to the aerospace or the defense ecosystem. But there might be patches where you might have very strong field service component or the maintenance component, and that's where IFS really shines. So some of the pluses for IFS are going to be deep field service scheduling capabilities. Okay, if you're really strong in field service, you are not going to have as deep production scheduling capabilities. You are going to have far deeper field service scheduling capabilities. The other pluses that we have for IFS is going to be they can support a lot of different business models as part of their product, especially if your core business model is going to be your field service and the asset maintenance. Then the other business models can be supported as part of the product as well. The other plus that we have for IFS is it has far superior cloud native experience, even though it's still a very legacy product, than some of the other legacy products such as IQMS. Now, the negative for IFS is obviously going to be it's not a great fit for manufacturers and distributors. So if you are a manufacturer or distributor in the A&D ecosystem, then you should be looking at Inforln, Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial, maybe Epicor Kinetic. The field service capabilities might be overwhelming for companies that might not be as strong in the field service component, and they might be doing a little bit of manufacturing and distribution. So just disabling those field service capabilities might increase your development testing effort. So make sure that you are really field service centric organization if you're going to be deploying IFS. IFS still a very strong solution for the A&D companies, and that's why it ranks at number 3 on our list. list is going to be the product called Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial. Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial is targeted for smaller to mid-size A&D companies, and it is not going to be a great fit if you have more than 10 entities. The product model of Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial is designed from the OEM perspective. So if you have a lot of different channel partners, you have very strong field service components, and you need to collaborate with them. You are doing the territory planning with them. You have the inbuilt quality module built as part of the product. You have very complex BOMs and sub-assemblies that require serialization, and they are packaged as part of the same product. For example, for products as big as your aircraft or landing gear, that's where the Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial really shines. Now, the weaknesses for Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial is going to be the A&D specific functionality will require the development effort, the configuration effort, which will actually increase your testing effort. And the other negative for Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial is going to be its narrow focus on manufacturing. So let's say if you have 2 or 3 different business models, you are doing a little bit of manufacturing and then you are doing construction for government contractors. Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial may not feel as natural fit. But having said that, Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial is still a very strong product for the smaller to mid-size A&D manufacturers, and that's why it ranks at number 2 on our list. Now, number 1 on our list is another product from Inforln, which is called Inforln. And the reason why Inforln is ranked as number 1 is because it has far deeper A&D specific capabilities that you are not going to find in any other products on this list. It's targeted for slightly upper mid and the large A&D centric organization. The negative for Inforln is going to be you are not going to get that CFO perspective that you might find in other products such as SAP or Sage, but you are going to have far deeper A&D specific capabilities when you look at things like project management, program management, and deep integration of your procurement processes as part of project management, program management. You are going to have all of that as part of your Inforln. You are going to have things such as flow down clauses for the contract and the government audit support for A&D companies. That is all built as part of the product as well, and then it integrates well with some of the other best of breed products in the Inforln portfolio, which are pre-integrated through Inforln OS. So that's a plus for Inforln product. Now, some of the negatives for Inforln product is going to be similar to the issues that we have with Inforln Cloud Suite Industrial. Is going to be really narrow focus on manufacturing. So if you are slightly more diversified business model, Inforln may not be the best fit for your business. The other negative that we have for Inforln is going to be the availability of the talent and the weak ecosystem. You are not going to find as much talent if you are going to run into any challenges with the product. Having said that, Inforln is still a very strong product for the A&D companies, and that is the reason why it ranks at number 1 on our list. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check our podcast, which is available on wbs.rocks. And then if you like it, then subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, Google, as well as Apple. It's available on all of those channels. Also, we are going to include the link for the article that details the criteria, the other things that we have discussed so far in deeper detail. So make sure you guys check that out. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.